The ability to perform deep work is becoming increasingly rare. Exactly at the same time, it is becoming increasingly valuable in our economy. As a result, the few who are able to cultivate this skill and make it the core of their working life will thrive. Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm just a high school senior documenting my journey of self-development and also at the same time trying to grow this little YouTube channel. So if you could hit that like button, it would be greatly appreciated. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about this book called Deep Work and seeing if it is able to improve your life in terms of productivity. Alright, so here's like the one sentence kind of summary of the book. So Cal Newport, which is the author of the book, says that if we're able to schedule in a couple hours a day for intentional deep work, we'll be able to produce so much more high quality work throughout the year. The idea of being able to produce more sounds pretty cool because I'm trying to put out more of these YouTube videos. Currently, it takes me about like a week to make one of these videos. So if I could cut that down to 2 videos a week using the methods that I'll be talking about in this video, that'll be a success, like a huge success for me. Alright, so let's just keep going on with the video. What is deep work? I've said this phrase a couple times and you might be wondering what this really means. Well, this question is actually quite simple and it can be explained through this simple equation, which is time spent times the intensity of your focus equals the amount of high quality work you'll be able to produce. In essence, deep work is your ability to focus really deeply while performing a task in order to get higher amounts of it done. Alright, so at this point you just might be thinking that clicking on this video was a huge waste of time. Basically, I'm just telling you to focus more, but there are more things that you have to consider. Like, we are in the age of the internet, and as many of you guys probably know, it is really difficult to keep your focus up for a long period of time. If you're watching this video, there is a high chance that you own some sort of smartphone and that this smartphone never leaves your side. Although we treat our phones like this lifeline, it is damaging our potential to produce high quality work. Every single time you hear a notification or open up Twitter in order to see what's happening for a little bit while you should be doing work, your focus is zapped and therefore making your intensity of focus very low. And that is why there are these careful strategies in order to perform deep work, which I'll be going over right now. While the book recommends like 4 different ways of scheduling in deep work, I'll only be going over one as I think it's the most applicable to the average person. So here's the rhythmic philosophy kind of method. You create a routine where you set aside this chunk of time which you'll only use to perform deep work. For example, I'm trying to work on this YouTube channel and I've decided to set aside some hours right after I wake up in order to perform deep work in order to work on this YouTube channel. I set my alarm early as it is only in the morning where I'm able to find time which is uninterrupted and where I'm able to focus really well. However, this might not be the case for you, so it's up to you to find this period of time where you're able to kind of just set aside so you could do deep work. So now we have this set period of time where we try to get deep work done. You might think that this is enough, however, it's not. Remember, we live in the age of the internet, the age where everyone is fighting for our focus and our attention. So Cal Newport, the author of the book that we're talking about right now, creates one requirement for deep work, which is that you cannot let your attention go anywhere else other than what you're doing, what you're working on. This means that you can't open up Instagram for a second, you can't open up Twitter to scroll for a little bit, none of that. This is because when we start a distraction, a piece of our mental focus or attention stays with it, even long after we've closed the app. Therefore, by succumbing to our distractions, even for a second, we are reducing the intensity of our focus, which, if you remember, is a key portion of being able to get a lot of high quality work done. So I'll be going over a few tips and tricks in order to reduce distractions and increase our focus during deep work. Tip numero uno, which is to turn off distractions we don't need. For many of us, myself included, once we open up a social media service like YouTube or TikTok, this is because social media platforms get paid the longer their users are on the website. They are designed to be time-sucking and captivating. The only surefire way to make sure you don't go on these services while you should be doing deep work is to make it harder for you to go on these services to begin with. So if the work that you're trying to do does not require the internet or your computer, just turn them off completely. Both the internet and your computer, and phones for this matter, only serve as distractions for your goal of deep work. Although if your work requires computer usage like mine, just make sure you don't go on these websites to begin with. These websites are literally designed to make sure you stay on them for as long as possible. So the only way to make sure you don't stay on them for a long time is to not go on them to begin with. Alright, so tip number 2 is to remove physical distractions. Now that we have our kind of internet, social media distractions out of the way, it's time to focus on a different type of distraction, which is physical distractions. Alright, so I'm going to go through my kind of step-by-step guide for this. So firstly, I would recommend to kind of clean your workplace. For me, when I have like textbooks and pencils and trash on my desk, it makes it harder for me to work on what I should be focusing on. So try to see if this is also the case for you. If not, then you have a clean desk. It's a win-win either way. Secondly, it's time to focus on other people. You can't work deeply if every like 10 minutes someone enters your room or your office space stealing your attention. For me, I personally combat this by working in the early morning. However, this again might not be the case for you. You might not be able to do this in the early morning. So talking to the people that you live with or the people you work with your kind of deep work hours, well, it may help you avoid potential distractions. Like for me, I've talked to my family, like I have like this little, here, let me get it. Alright, so I have like this door handle thing that I use, which basically means don't come in my room unless there's like a important thing. Alright, so the final tip that I have will be tip number 3, which is to impose like miniature reoccurring deadlines. Even with all the work that we've done to remove distractions and create time for deep work, this is still not enough. Sometimes we are just still not focused. Therefore, it is a requirement to make these mini reoccurring deadlines. To explain, let's just say you're trying to write a book. In order to impose a miniature reoccurring deadline, let's say you need to at least write 100 words every 20 minutes. By doing this, even if it's not a lot for some people, you are still requiring yourself to stay focused and consistent towards making something meaningful in the long run. And that's basically it. While there are many other kind of tips and subjects that Cal Newport mentions in his book, these were the points that applied most to me, and hopefully yourselves. So in conclusion, as like a summary to all this, deep work is the action of producing work in a highly focused manner. If the intensity of your focus during deep work is high, then you'll be able to produce so much more highly meaningful work as you were if you didn't stay as focused. You need to create chunks of time which you'll dedicate to performing deep work, even if that is before school, right when you wake up, or maybe after work, right when you get home. Removing distractions is a key in order to performing deep work at its maximum level. Anyway, that is it for me. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like. I really appreciate it. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. Peace.